Night had already settled over the world, but not the kind of night that feels heavy or lonely. It was the kind of night that quietly whispers, "Come on, slow down, you're safe here." The sky was a deep, peaceful blue. The stars shimmered softly, as if they were breathing. Slow, steady, calming breaths. You walked forward, unhurried. No noise, no demands, no rushing. Just you and the soft hush of the night. The ground felt warm beneath your feet. Dry leaves rustled faintly. Not loud, not distracting. Just a gentle reminder that the world was still alive around you. When the dark outline of the forest appeared ahead, you stopped for a moment. You took a deep breath, and it was one of those breaths that somehow takes the whole day with it. The worries, the rush, the little weights you carried around, your shoulders softened, your mind loosened. Your whole body grew a little heavier in the nicest way. You could tell right away. This forest wasn't ordinary. Anyone who stepped inside, walked a little slower, breathed a little deeper, thought a little less, and drifted a little closer to sleep. You took your first step toward the trees. A warm feeling bloomed in your chest. The second step brought the scent of earth and flowers and quiet wood, comforting, grounding. The third step, and the world behind you faded into silence. The world ahead, this forest, seemed to open its arms. Moonlight slipped gently between the leaves, painting silver patterns on the forest floor. Trees stood tall and calm like ancient guardians. It almost felt like the forest itself was breathing. Very slowly, very quietly. You walked for a while. There was no need to hurry. No need to think about anything. Step, breath, softness. Then a movement in the corner of your eye. A shadow gliding between the trees. Not fast, not frightening, just soft. You turned your head, but nothing was there. Only the leaves whispering in the breeze as if saying, "It's okay, keep going." You noticed the faint markings carved into tree trunks. Not quite letters, not quite symbols, but meaningful somehow. It felt like the forest collected everyone's stories and kept them gently hidden in its bark. You didn't need to understand it. You just felt accepted. Quietly, inside your chest, you greeted the forest. "I'm here." And you kept walking deeper into the night, deeper into the calm, deeper into yourself. After a little while, you felt something change beneath your feet. The soft soil turned into something smoother, cooler. You looked down. A path. A delicate line of pale, glowing stones, arranged carefully through the forest. Each small stone shimmered gently, as if it drank in the moonlight, and let it out again as a quiet glow. The path curved softly, disappearing into the trees, and appearing again a little farther ahead. You knelt down and picked up one of the stones. It wasn't cold, It was pleasantly warm, as if someone had held it just moments before. Your fingertips brushed over tiny carvings on its surface, not words, but symbols that felt familiar somehow. You didn't know what they meant, yet inside you a soft feeling formed. Don't worry, you're safe. Keep going. You placed the stone back where it belonged. When you stepped onto the path again, the stones made a faint, crystalline sound, almost too soft to hear, more a feeling than a sound. Soon the rhythm of your steps matched the rhythm of your heartbeat. Step, beat, step, beat. Then you sensed that shadow again, not threatening, more like a guide moving just ahead, slipping through the trees at each fork in the path. Whenever the road split, the shadow quietly leaned toward one direction, not forcing you, just nudging your intuition. And without thinking too hard, you followed. The trees ahead began to thin. Moonlight grew brighter. The silver path was leading you toward an open clearing. As you stepped into the clearing, the sounds of the forest shifted once again. A soft, delicate chirp floated from above, not quite like a normal bird, but somehow familiar. You lifted your head. Among the branches, little lights were moving, not fireflies, not stars, something in between. Your eyes adjusted, and their shapes became clear. Sleep birds, tiny creatures just a little bigger than your palm, with feathers that shimmered moon blue and silver. When they fluttered their wings, they left soft trails of light in the air that slowly dissolved into the night. Some were already asleep, tucked quietly into the branches, their little bodies rising and falling with slow, peaceful breaths. One of them drifted downward, so slowly, almost as if floating on a dream. It hovered in front of you. Its big, sleepy eyes gazed into yours, and somehow, in that gaze, it felt like it knew everything about your day, all the exhaustion, every small weight you were carrying. It tilted its head gently. Then it opened its tiny wings. From its feathers, soft glowing dust began to fall. It settled on your hair, your shoulders, your chest. Wherever it touched, warm relief spread instantly. Your muscles loosened, your breath deepened, your face softened. And without meaning to, you let out a quiet, content sigh. The sleep bird closed its wings, as if its little task was complete, and drifted back up to the branches. It tucked its head under its wing and fell asleep instantly. You stayed there for a moment, just breathing, letting your body sink into that warm calm. Then the silver path called to you again, softly, patiently, and you continued walking into the deeper part of the night. Following the silver path, you noticed the forest slowly opening up again. The light ahead wasn't moonlight. It was softer, wider, almost like the glow of a dream. You walked a little faster, not out of urgency, but out of curiosity. a gentle excitement. And then you stepped through the last line of trees and saw it, a lake. Not an ordinary lake. This one was so still, so perfectly calm, that it looked like someone had laid a sheet of pure glass over the world. The sky was reflected flawlessly on the water. The stars above appeared again below, twice as bright, twice as beautiful. You approached the shore and knelt down. Your fingertips touched the surface. It didn't feel cold. It felt alive somehow. Warm, but not hot. Soft, but not liquid. When you gently traced your finger through it, rings of light rippled outward, as if your touch had brushed the stars themselves. The ripples spread slowly, calmly, fading back into stillness. This lake carried a certain wisdom, quiet and ancient. It felt like it held countless dreams, peaceful nights, silent wishes, all resting beneath its surface. You sat by the shore, letting your body settle. Your breath matched the lake's stillness. Slow, quiet, deep. And then, from somewhere deep beneath the water, a soft glow appeared. At first it was faint, just a little shimmer. Then it grew brighter, coming closer to the surface. The glow drifted upward, not stirring the water at all, not breaking the perfect calm. A shape began to appear, huge, ancient, peaceful. There, curled beneath the surface, was a massive, sleeping creature. But not frightening, not even a little. It had a gentle presence, the kind that makes you instinctively soften your shoulders. Its wings, or wing-like shapes of soft, glowing light, barely moved with its slow breathing. Its body shone like pale starlight, inhaling and exhaling in a strangely comforting rhythm. Its eyes were closed. It was deeply asleep. For a moment, the creature's eyelids fluttered. Then, just for a breath of time, they opened, and it looked at you. But instead of fear, a warm recognition washed over you, as if the creature was saying, "Oh, there you are. I knew you'd come." Then its eyes closed again, returning to its ancient, peaceful slumber. The lake stilled completely, closing over the faint glow. You stayed there a while, listening to that slow, steady rhythm beneath the water. With every breath the creature took, you felt your own breath slow to match it. The calm was contagious, in the softest, sweetest way. Eventually, you stood up. You gave a quiet, grateful glance toward the lake, and you continued your journey, following the path back into the forest's gentle embrace. You noticed the sound of the air beginning to change. It wasn't quite wind, not at first, just a soft movement, like a memory brushing past your ear. Then the path opened into a valley. And the moment you stepped inside, you understood here the wind didn't simply blow. It spoke, not with words, but with feelings. Little hints of forgotten peace, distant lullabies, the emotional echoes of things said long ago. Tall grass swayed lightly, not because of gusts of air, but because the valley itself was guiding the movement. A subtle, welcoming gesture. It felt like the valley knew you. Not your story, not your thoughts, just you. Every now and then, a faint melody drifted through the air. You couldn't place it. It might have been a song, a sigh, or a memory someone left behind in the valley ages ago. But whatever it was, it made your chest loosen, your breath lengthen, your eyelids grow heavier. You stood for a moment, letting the whispers wash over you. They weren't trying to say anything specific. They were just reminding you, you're allowed to rest now. After a gentle pause, the silver path shimmered again ahead of you, inviting, patient, glowing. You exhaled softly, feeling lighter, and stepped forward, leaving the valley with a calm heart. Leaving the valley behind, the night wrapped around you even more softly, like a warm blanket settling over your shoulders. You walked for a little while, until a gentle flicker of color appeared between the trees. Not white, not yellow, but a shimmering mix of violet and blue, dancing like a flame but moving as slowly as a dream. Curious, you followed the glow and stepped into a small clearing. There, in the center, a tiny fire burned. A fire unlike anything you'd ever seen. Its flames rose and fell, in calm, rhythmic waves, as if breathing along with the forest. And fluttering around the fire were little round creatures, glowing softly, dancing in slow spirals. Lurids. They were small, almost weightless looking, with gentle spheres of light surrounding them, like halos made of stardust. They didn't speak, they didn't chirp. They simply glowed, and somehow that glow said, "We're happy you're here." One lurid drifted forward, floating above the violet-blue flames. It circled once, twice, and then came toward you with the softest, friendliest energy. As it hovered near your face, you felt a warm calm spreading through your chest, like someone smoothing a blanket over you. Then, above the fire, the flames suddenly shifted, forming a shape, a symbol. It wasn't clear, wasn't sharp, but it carried meaning. A kind of welcoming sign from the heart of the forest. It felt like the symbol was whispering, "You're on the right path. We know you. Keep going." You sat beside the fire, and the ground beneath you felt unbelievably soft, almost like moss warmed by moonlight. The flames moved slowly, lurids drifting around you like gentle planets. A deep relaxation washed through your body, slowly and steadily. After a peaceful while, you rose to your feet, giving the lurids a quiet thank you with your eyes. They glowed a little brighter, their version of a smile, and you continued along the silver path. The trees eventually fell away, and the ground began to slope upward. Ahead of you, stood Moon Mountain. Its peak shimmered with soft silver light, and a thin mist curled around the edges, like the mountain was exhaling. At the base of the climb, beneath an enormous old tree, sat a figure, still, calm, waiting. Not quite a person, not quite a spirit. Something in between, yet you felt no fear, only warmth. As you approached, the sage lifted their head and smiled gently, the kind of smile that carries a lifetime of understanding behind it. They didn't speak right away. Instead, they motioned for you to sit, and so you did, feeling the earth cradle your weight as naturally as breath. After a long, comfortable silence, the sage finally spoke, with a voice like soft starlight. If your path has brought you here tonight, then you must be ready to let go of what you no longer need. The words weren't dramatic. They didn't try to teach or correct or warn. They simply landed gently inside you. Take a deep breath, the sage said. You did, and let it go. You exhaled slowly, feeling something inside your chest become lighter. The sage closed their eyes. You followed. There, under the ancient tree, time seemed to rest with you. There was no pressure, no expectation, just breath, silence, and release. After a while, their voice returned, quiet but certain. You're ready now. Go on. The summit is waiting. You stood up. Your body felt warm, loose, and safe, and you began your climb up Moon Mountain. The path upward was smoother than you expected, almost as if the mountain was gently carrying you. The higher you climbed, the brighter the moonlight became, and the closer the stars felt. You could actually sense them watching. Not in a distant way, but in a quiet, comforting, we're right here with you kind of way. Your steps were slow and steady. Your breath deepened naturally. With every upward move, the world behind you grew softer, quieter, smaller. A faint breeze brushed your cheeks. Not cold, not sharp, just cool enough to remind you that the night was alive. As you neared the summit, the sky opened wide before you, a vast field of shimmering lights. For the first time, it felt like the stars were leaning in, wanting to hear your breath, wanting to share their calm. And then, when you reached the very top, the world went completely still. No wind, no sound, only a bright ocean of stars, stretching endlessly around you. You stood there, your heart soft, your body warm, your eyelids heavy, and the stars watched kindly, patiently. At the summit center, the air began to shimmer. Light gathered quietly, slowly forming a soft outline. A doorway made entirely of gentle glow, not blinding, not overwhelming, just inviting. You didn't move at first. You simply observed, feeling the warmth radiating from the doorway. Then, for the first time, you heard the stars, Not voices, but something deeper, like the sound dreams make before they begin. And the message was unmistakable. You've walked far enough. It's time to rest. Inside the doorway was a warm, velvety darkness, the kind that holds you, not hides you. You stepped closer. The soft hum wrapped around your shoulders. Comfort, warmth, peace. You took one step into the light, then another. The glow folded gently around you, lifting the last bits of weight from your mind, softening every breath, loosening every thought. And just before everything faded into perfect calm, you heard a final whisper, "Sleep gently. You're safe now." And you drifted quietly, beautifully, into deep, peaceful sleep.